April 11th, 2025 at 8 o'clock in the morning. Guess what woke me up this morning at 5:30? One guess. Chewing. He's gonna bust through very soon. I took away that rat poison just in case it does, because I don't know. I don't want it dying in the walls. And then I have to put up with that god-awful smell, and everybody else has to smell it for like a month, 2 weeks to a month, a week, however long, depending on the size of the rat. I'm pretty sure it's a rat. I heard it scurry just a little bit. It woke me up because it's getting close. It's chewing on that what is it called? It's, imitation plywood or whatever. Imitation wood, right? Along that wall. And it's up in the corner. It keeps going back to the same spot. So it's on a run. It's on a rat run. So I had to debate about doing this because we know why I'm doing it, right? Because one, like these I'm going to use just for sprouting, a half a cup at a time. So you get a few servings of sprouts over a period of time. Do you see what I mean? See, I try and go in the center, but because the left eye doesn't work, look what happens. Well, what can I do about that? Right? When I die, they'll like, what the hell? What was Mom thinking? Look at how she's writing. But I can't help it because I'm convinced that, I have it in the center. See, and kind of doing it here too. I try really, really hard. I try so hard to make it in the center, but it's almost impossible. Once in a blue moon, I'll get it in the middle. That's the way I like it. I got OCD, right? But whatever. So we know why I'm doing it this way, because to be kicking around on a small kitchen or whatever, it's convenient for size. And being that I'm only doing a half a cup to a quarter cup, because you can do other things with them as well, right? At a time, no more than half a cup at a time. I figured that will last for a month anyway, because you spread it out, right? Unless you want to do it all the time, but I wouldn't be doing it all the time. And what do you call it? And I got some mung beans from Canadian Superstore. And some other little bean from Canadian Superstore, and I'm pretty sure they'll sprout too. But if not, I've got that organic mung beans in now, as well as a different bean, Azar or something like that. I don't know what it's called, which would produce a bean sprout. And then of course we got chickpeas. So 3 or 4 of these together just for sprouting, I would think is kind of manageable in terms of space versus the 1-size gallon jars, So, and then of course we want them in the jars because it helps to protect the food, whether it's wheat, beans, whatever, from the elements in terms of moisture. And I put, well, you don't see it there. Let's see. Yeah. I put oxygen absorber at the bottom of them. But, I was tapping them down. So I don't know why I don't see one there. Oh yeah, there it is. Where is it? There it is. Because when you get stuff like this coming in from the farms in bulk, you know, it's a good idea to, what do you call it? Use an oxygen absorber, whether you're using, you know, a vacuum seal bag, whether you're using a Mylar bag, or whether you're using a jar, right? Because sometimes they come in with pests. Weevils, you know, moths, larva eggs. That just helps to get rid of those so that they don't hatch or reproduce. What are you doing, Mickey? Or reproduce, so that by the time you come back 2-3 years later, it's just been one big party in there and it's no good no more because, you know, it multiplied and it had its own habitat, whatever was living in there. So if you can, invest in Mylar, not Mylar, oxygen absorbers, different sizes. For that reason, the jar helps to keep out the moisture. It helps to regulate temperature, especially keeping it cool. And depending on what it is and how cold you want it, I gotta make sure I don't double label these, right? Depending on how cold you want it, you know, you can put it either closer to the floor. These ones I am not, because I don't want these jars to sweat. Because, you know, you put it closer to the floor, sometimes jars, they'll sweat. And it won't spoil the food on the inside, as it will bring in a, I don't want to call it a mildew, because it's not really a mildew, but it will make your jar cloudy because it's sweating it, right? And then, of course, you got, you know, through the seasons, temperature changes. So these ones here, for the most part, are going into my room. Right, I was debating whether I should put them in there or not, but these ones, because don't forget, I got 88 pounds of this stuff. It was my last purchase. And I have other ones around the house. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, but I'm not too happy about this rodent trying to get into my house. Now the cats aren't on high alert just yet, right? I think they kind of sense it, but they're not on high alert. So, like, they're not being skittish yet. But if that thing crawls through and jumps down, oh God, they're definitely going to go on the prowl. And they're going to stalk it. And how it's going to escape, where it's going to escape to, I don't know. Right? It might not be able to escape. Nope. Which would be good for me. But, you know, I don't know how long it would take for my cats to catch it, depending on where it hides. But sooner or later, it's going to have to come out. Right? And that's when they catch it. So, I'm not too worried about that, per se. Outside of, you know, my son will hopefully take on the initiative to get more proactive about, you know, spot checking the house and covering up, like, the pipes up on the ceiling, up on the roof, right? Making sure that the dryer vent has a cover, taking the time to maybe refoam where the bricks meet the wall, so if they're crawling up through there. If they're gutter pipes, well, that's gutter rats. If they're coming in through the gutters, not gutters, drainage, like, yeah, gutter, sewer rats. If they're coming in through sewer pipes, which I don't know about that, because honestly, I think this one came up through the roof, right? Or I don't know. I don't know. Yes, Mickey. If there's sewer rats, because my son was thinking maybe sewer rats. I need another label for this one. Then that's a whole different ball game, because they could be coming in from a sewer pipe that's out in the yard. You'd have to find it. You'd have to go looking. right? And then when you find it, you have to dig it up and replace it because the pipe got so old that the rat chewed into it and then crawled in to the sewer pipe. And that's how it gets into the house. So, you know, tends to be a long drawn out process dealing with these things. So these are definitely rat proof. Okay, that's another reason why you want to use jars anytime you can. Now, these are the organic prune juice for the most part. I found some apple juice in my bedroom when I was off in that corner, 3 jars, so I pulled them out. And the boys have already been drinking it. They've been sucking back on the apple juice. So I got 3 more jars. Plus, I know I'm pretty sure some of these on my porch because I had to put them out on the porch in a box and, you know, use them for making juice or whatever. I'm not into making juice, so I'm gonna, oh my God, I want to put this little green mountain on my porch, but I'm so freaking afraid, people, to put that. I'm afraid to, I'm serious. Okay, I have to be truthful about this. I can't fake the funk when it comes to other people's behavior. Like, you know, I want to put that little green mountain out, right? You know, Kyrie could play with it. Malachi could play with it. Alea May could play with it. And Aries can play with that. That is 4 children between the ages of, I think Aries is almost 3 years old. Kyrie is 3 years old. Alea May is 6 years old. And Malachi is 5 years old. Okay? Right? And that's all I have left. Outside of nothing. Because I've been robbed by a rat. Okay? Because isn't that what rats do? They get into your fucking house and they just fucking steal your shit, eat your shit, whatever it is, you know, steal your shit and make a big freaking mess, right? You know, and destroy shit. Isn't that right? Okay. So anyway, whatever. I want to put this little green mountain out. But I'm so afraid because I have to open up this door. I have to get this stuff put away, right? You know what I'm saying? And I want to preserve. I don't to buy a case of mason jars. Now I have, but I want to save them because I don't want to spend no more money. I have to, right? You know, as I'm changing my life and doing whatever, right? So anyway, I have a couple of cases of these. You're looking at 20, and if they're ball, right? This is a ball jar, I'm pretty sure, right? Wide mouth. You're looking at $22, $25 a case for 12 jars. I don't want to use them for this. I want to save them so that maybe when I get caught up, I can get into those cans of fruit that I bought, 2 years ago, and open them up, see how they're doing, and recan them into jars. Because, you know, fruit with the acidity can eat through the jars, right? And being that I haven't had a chance to freaking eat anything when it comes to that stuff, you know, or if something happens and, you know, it's a really good deal and I want to can more meat, which I don't. You know, I really don't. I could have gotten a free turkey shopping at Canadian Superstore. And I'm like, do you really want to be dealing with turkey right now? No. Focus on this, right? But if something came up and it was like something and I had to can, then I got the jar. So I'm not worried about that. But I didn't want to use jars for this when I already got these jars. Because for Amari's prune juice, organic, coming in these jars, I'm paying $13 a jar. This is great. I like this. And working out good. Didn't cost me anything than what I've already spent when I bought the product. And because I buy that apple juice that comes in these kind jars, you know, I got a few more kicking around. And I'm positive I have some on my porch. But I have to get them, which means I have to put that little green mountain out and, you know, open up my back door. And I'm hoping it will open up without the window fucking falling out, people. Wait till I clear that out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like, it's pathetic. So, you know, if I put the the little green mountain that 4 children can play with this summer. Whether I'm planting food or not, doesn't matter, because I probably won't. I mean, some of these peas are falling on the floor. I don't know where they are now, but, you know, they're not all... I'm getting ready to feed the fucking rat here. No, I'm not doing that. But, you know, they're falling on the floor. And when I start sweeping... And Andre's really bad with shit. He's always fucking throwing bread around the house. I told him, I said, you gotta stop that crap. Anyway, I just found one on the floor. It's organic. It should grow. There you go, Mrs. Gill. There's a seed. I'm gonna plant that in the dirt. And it's a free-for-all. It either survives or it fucking dies. Would it like to climb? Well, so you got to put it someplace where it can climb, Judy, because you have no poles. And you're not going to be running freaking poles for stupid peas any more than you would for beans. Because you're not going to go buy poles, and you're not going to go looking around for some freaking branches so people can accuse you of this and accuse you of that. But yet eat your food. Like, it doesn't fucking make sense to me, people. And, you know, she phoned me up yesterday, my landlady. I said, yes, Mrs. Gill. What? Right? Oh, right? Trying to be very neutral and fair without getting my emotions, putting her in guard, right, people? Because she's old, right? I don't want to upset her anymore than maybe she's upset. I don't know, because the way she acts, it's like she enjoys what she's doing right now to me. And, well, she has been for years, but she's at a different stage in her life now that, I don't know. So anyway, she asked me if she could come by and give me the medicine that she uses for her eyes. I said, excuse me? What did you say? She said, I've got medicine here that I use for my eyes. I want to come by and give it to you so you can use it. I said, I don't know about that, Mrs. Gill. I have to ask my eye specialist first before I can do that, people, because I am like on the cusp of going blind. I can't afford to be fooling around with my eyes, experimenting like that. I use, once in a while, castor oil. I'll put castor oil all around here, but it's not doing anything, right? I asked the doctor, he said that's okay. Because they say, oh, put castor oil, you know, every day. After a couple of months, your cataracts will go away. Well, I don't know about that, because, first of all, I don't even have one in there. As for this one, well, and I can't be going around being greasy all the time, so either or. I said, well, I have to ask my eye specialist first, Mrs. Gill, if I can use it, right? Because, you know, like, she doesn't understand that if she gave me something and I used it, she gave it to me in good faith, because she cares. Is she giving it to me because she cares? Or is she giving it to me because she's in the neighborhood and she wants to cruise the yard and say, get rid of the little green mountain that you have on the porch now? I told you to get rid of that before. Or is she going to single something else in the yard and say, well, you're not doing this fast enough. You need to do this. And that too, get rid of that. It's a new thing now. It's something else that's out there that wasn't bothering anybody, but all of a sudden, out of the blue, she wants me to, my son. She uses my son to do the dirty work, right? To get rid of it. And then, you know, my son tells me, and then I get mad, right? Because he's getting the pressure. And that's not fair, people. So, you know, like, I'm like, but I didn't say no because I think she wanted to come by and, you know, be bossy. I said no. I said, well, and I didn't say no. I said, I don't think I can use it because I have to ask my eye specialist first. Because she doesn't realize that I can't afford to be making mistakes with my eyes any more than the mistakes that have already been done, people. It's too late. I'm just trying to hang on, get my life a little bit in order, and have a place to, I don't want to say run to be safe. Because I'm not safe in this house. No fucking way. I don't care what anybody says. There is, no. You know, I mean, obviously I don't have to leave tomorrow, but, you know, like, right? So anyway, because I said, as soon as I said that, I heard Mr. Gill in the background. And she, right? And I'm like listening for a minute, a second or whatever it was. And I said, well, you know, they're kind of like bickering between themselves, right? Because he's telling her to forget, like, just leave her alone, right? She's not, she can't use it, right? So it's clearly Mrs. Gill is gooning here, right? Not Mr. Gill, it's Mrs. Gill gooning. But for what purpose? As an excuse to come by so that you can say that we didn't do whatever it was that you wanted done fast enough? Or is it because you really fucking care about me? Right? Right? Okay, so she gets back up on the phone. It was only 30 seconds they were conversating between themselves. And she says something or something. And I said, well, you know, Mrs. Gill, if you really want to bring it by, I mean, you can bring it by. Oh, and he's and Mr. Gill's now in the background. I guess I was on speakerphone or something. And he's, you know, and she's, oh, no, it's okay. And she hung up on me. Just like that. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, what the heck was that? Right? Is she insulted because I said no? It wasn't that I wanted to say no. I'm afraid to do anything. Hell, I'm afraid to put out the play mountain on my porch. I'm afraid to put the fucking play mountain out in the freaking henhouse area. I'm afraid to put the play mountain anywhere in the fucking yard. I'd be even afraid to put the play mountain in the greenhouse because my son would see it and then, oh, that little bitch, I threw that out in the bin. Why is Miss Gill's going to see that? She's going to tell me to throw it out, so I might as well just throw it out now with the freaking water drums. And then I'll go outside in 3 weeks from now or a month from now or whatever it is with the kids, with Rhea or whatever, and the bloody thing will be gone. And there's my heart again, like this. Like it's bullshit. Bullshit. But I have to open up this door because I got rodent problem and I've always used jars. I've spent thousands of dollars on fucking jars, people. When I can get them free, I'm going to use them. But the thing is, people are out to get me. Why you do that? You don't need that. Get rid of it. You have too much. Give it to me. And if they're not doing that, they're straight up freaking stealing it from me. Isn't that what fucking rats do? They come into your house and they steal shit? They eat your shit? They ruin your shit? Trouble? Like, you don't know how hard it is for me to do this stupid crap. You can see it. I'm always squinting, man. So, anyway, these things have button. You know, these are button. These are lug lids. Because if the oxygen absorber in there, it's just to take up to 24 hours, they should seal eventually. But even if they don't, they're going to still be good. I just did these. So now these ones are going, well, at least some of them are going, most of them. Oh, I need another label for that one. Because I got one thing over here that can fit a majority of them. And then I'm going to, and that's another thing, working, you know, I'm having panic attacks not doing the yard. I asked Rhea, you know, on one of these days when you come, right? Because she's going to help me with the playroom. You know, she's obviously going to help me with the fabric, right? We're going to do, you know, Auntie Tisha's, Shemai's room. We're going to poke her noses, isn't that right? Okay, you know what I'm saying? We had a little hiccup there in terms of, I had to set boundaries when it comes to, well, you know, if I go to your house, Rhea, and I started just walking around willy-nilly, you know, disappearing, doing whatever, you know, and then you came back later and found that I had moved something and whatever, you know, you wouldn't like that. And just because I'm going blind doesn't mean that, you know, I would. So, you know, and I said to her, do you want me to do you want me to, you know, just cut in terms of my insecurities when somebody's coming and actually helping me versus trying to hurt me? Because I have been hurt so much, people. Like, it's very hard for me to trust somebody, because in my experiences over my lifetime of 63 years, and I know that's not very much compared to someone like Mrs. Gill, who's 84, or so on and so on, right? But in 63 years, I've been saying it for years and years and years, I have come to the conclusion that at least 70% of the general population steal. That's it. They steal. It could be your best friend. It could be your roommate. It could be one of your own children. Sierra liked to steal from me because of her addiction. I'd get the heebie-jeebies. I guess I telepathic could kind of sense that she had her eyeballs on something. I made a fucking mental note of it. And 4 days later, I said, to heck with it. I'm going into my closet to see if my turntables are in there. And sure enough, she opened up the turntable case. I told you that story. And pulled out the turntable, ran off with the turntable, and put the case back in the freaking closet. But I had already sensed it. And then once I realized what she did, I said, you go get that turntable, otherwise I'm calling the cops, and this ain't going to end until I get my turntable back. So whoever has it better give it back to you. And she did. She came back the next day with my turntable, people. But if I would have left that like that for another 3-4 weeks, a month, 2, 3, it would have been gone. I would never have gotten it back. In that situation, I acted on my instincts. Right? Same thing when she used to cruise the garage and steal things from the garage. Big bucket of paint and all this other crap. Right? You know, it's just... So, or whatever. Like, you know, like people walk into your house and they sit down and they act like they're your friend and yada yada, and you know, you just get that feel, right? And you walk off, you come back, you see that you had a box on the table that had the lid on tight, but when you come back, because you went to the bathroom, it wasn't like you could ask your friend to go to the bathroom with you. You had to leave him at the table, and when you got back, you could see that the box had been open and they couldn't put the lid back on correctly where it was nice and flush because it was a wood box, and clearly they were rushing. But the point is they opened it when you went to the bathroom, as they sit there at your table professing to be your freaking friend, and then wants to come and maybe spend a night, you know, hang out, do whatever. Yeah, right. I had a stepson. He's dead now. Clayton, Brooklyn's half-brother, show up at my house when he was 17 years old from Alberta. And I was at Wally's house, and he had a real thieving problem. Oh boy, did he ever have a thieving problem. He was a problematic kid. Nobody wanted him. That's how he showed up at my house. And I'll tell you, you know, it was just a non-stop, ongoing situation. And even when, after he was gone, right, and he showed up here a few times after I moved into this house, and he showed up as the big brother, kind of, you know, whatever, but he was still stealing from me, you know, because it becomes habitual for some people. It's control, right? It's not that they need it. It's the idea that they're in control of something, which gives them more control within their life when they're feeling like maybe they're not exactly the, you know what I mean, right? Like it's about control. Whether you're hurting somebody or... Like, I've had several roommates steal from me. I'd rent rooms out. They weren't my roommates. They were boarders. I'd rent them a room and they would roam my freaking house. Okay? And through that process, they were stealing from me. Eventually, I'd find out about it and I'd ask them to leave. Right? So this stuff that's been going on with me, when I say it's robbery, it's the same damn thing. Only in this situation, whether it was my son downstairs doing whatever he was doing for whatever reason he was doing it, which, you know, at some point I can understand. They wanted more space, but it could have been done in a different kind of way. Just like whatever happened in the yard could have been done in a different way, because at the end of the day, it all boiled down to robbing me. And causing trouble and heartache and harm and injury and financial loss and future opportunity, loss of future opportunity. Like that wax. If that big thing of wax is gone and they sold it for $100, $200 because wax is expensive today, and I maybe paid $15 for the damn thing 15 years ago, who knows when I bought it. Okay, the point is, if it's gone, then that means I've lost opportunity with whoever to make candles with. Whether it's Andre, whether it's Tisha and her kids, whether it's Rhea and her kids, or whether it's freaking Marcane and Marina. Because, you know, maybe when they threw it out, they weren't thinking about it. But when the lights go fucking out, they're going to be running around looking for that wax, asking me if I have wicks, because that's the only thing that's going to provide them warmth and freaking light. So let's hope they didn't throw it out, because if they did, they threw out opportunity for me. And if it was in the shed, and Mrs. Gill is saying get rid of everything in the yard, including what's in the garage, and we're going to stick the city on you to make sure that you fucking do it, because she's stealing, but she's only doing it in a different kind of way that makes her feel powerful at 84 years old, that makes her feel like she's in control at 84 years old, because it's not like she needed it, other than maybe some brownie points with that disposal bin that picked up all that stuff, that non-profit stuff, that yard stuff, whatever it was that was good for me. They took it and they gave it to somebody else, or they sold it, or they took it home for themselves. Because they sure in hell didn't throw out everything. And that is what freaking thieves do. So why the fuck would I want to put stupid medication in my eye when I don't even know what it is? Would you want me to go blinder faster? Because you're mad? Because I'm not going to plant anything? Not that I can? If I can't even see the fucking blueberries, what the hell do you expect? I can't see the raspberries on the raspberry bush when they're in bloom and ready to eat. I can't see the freaking blueberries on the plant when they're ready to eat. But you expect me to get dirty and plant some food. Yeah, okay. As I'm worried about being robbed on a whole new level, because there's nothing left to take from the yard except for maybe that little green freaking mountain once I put it out on the porch and it becomes a heat score. For people that are power tripping and want to be in control. Not only with their own lives because they feel so inadequate with something, but be in control of my life. They're control freaks. There's a book out there called The Control Freaks. It was written when I was a kid, for crying out loud. My Auntie Jerry gave me a copy. I still have that book in this house to this day. Oh yeah. I was like 14, 15, 13 years old. Control Freaks. It's a book. It's black. It's in the house, I can guarantee you. Until the freaking fucking rats come inside and start robbing my shit inside of here. Oh yeah, I'll just wait for the rat to jump and start chewing up books. Yeah, there you go. So, the last time they gave me something, it burned my eyes. I used it for a while, because I couldn't even get it. I couldn't even get a referral to see an eye specialist, so I felt like I had no choice, because I wasn't using anything. And then eventually I went to the Royal Columbian Hospital to emergency, and I got a referral to see an eye specialist that way. That was in October of what, 2022, 2023, something like that. I think October of 2022. And by the time I went and seen the eye doctor, I told him I had been using that, and I showed him. He said, "Oh no, don't do that." I said, "Yeah, but my landlord said, oh, right, it will work." He says, "Well, you know what?" He says, "I go to India all the time to do cataract surgery, right? If that what they gave you worked, that's $1 billion industry." He said they gave it to you because they wanted to see if it would work so that they could turn around and patent it and make $1 billion off of whoever would want to use it after the fact, because I was the quote-unquote guinea pig. Because he said that's what they do in India. They mix up these little concoctions and they hope to solve the problem of at least cataract clouding. But you have to remember, my octave nerves were dying. So here I am burning my eyes, probably frying my octave nerves. Waiting to see an eye specialist with universal health care that I couldn't access. Yeah, okay. And I'm sure at the time when they gave it to me, they were being genuine about, whatever. But at the back of their mind, being from where they come from and just the type of people they are, they probably were hoping to see if it would work. And then they'd sneak off and they would patent it and they'd get rich. Yeah. That's what they do. Just like they're getting rich off the back of my, off of my back in this yard. With the anemones. Yeah. It's not my yard. Everything's been taken out of it. Practically, what little is left is still being robbed, in my opinion. Robbed. Why are you taking my water drums? I want to move. It doesn't matter if it takes me a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or fucking 2 days. It doesn't matter. I'm taking them with me. You have no right to tell my son to throw them out. Because they're not the right color. Because they're blue. Because they're water drums, 55-gallon water drums. Off to the corner with one white one over there. Right? What gives her the right to tell him to get rid of it? But yet plant food. Yeah, okay. As I'm worrying about my food. Wondering who's plotting and scheming to get to this now. Being that there's not much left to take outside. Or even in the basement for that matter. Except for maybe food and some fabric. So, anyway, this is rat proof, at least on a rodent level. They can't get into it, people. So save your jars. Okay?